A life devoid of the cross is a life yet concealed, constrained from truly loving as the Master bids us to love. It is better if the suffering we endure does not come at our own hand, but it often does. Either way, though, if joined to Christ's own task, it can allow the risen one to emerge or manifest through our own wounds. This is not only true for priests, but it is so for every disciple. My brothers, if renewal is to go forth in this diocese, then her clergy must be in the vanguard of renewal. And that can only come by drawing near to the man of suffering, allowing his love and his wounds to give life to ours. My brothers, we are to become, all of us, priests like the great high priest. We are to become entirely his, and unless we do so, then to talk of renewal or pastoral planning is laughable. The truth of the matter is we must teach our people to lay down their hearts so that the heart of the sacred person might be revealed in us. It takes all of us for renewal to occur, to become more passionate lovers, to become more ardent in our ache for Christ. And if renewal is to be evangelical, if it is to be something that reaches out to our neighbor, if it is to become something beyond maintenance, then we have to come to a deeper renewal. And that means, my brothers, prayer and fasting. That means repentance. And that means allowing yourself to be caught up in the mystery of the one who comes to each of us and all of us to set us free from our pain, to set us free from our pointless way of living, so that his plan, the Father's plan, might be revealed in us, might be revealed to our neighbor in the way we live and love. If we are not on fire, my brothers, how on earth can we invite people into a cold room of our hearts, into the cold room of our parishes? You know, it's funny. We can choose to stay in a maintenance mode, but we have to look out into our parishes and see the truth. Very few of our people are coming to Mass on Sunday. How many of them ever hear the word? How many of their children wander away to the din of the enemy's camp? And we know it's a critical time right now. It's a critical time for the faith. It's a critical time for us to make a choice here. I know that pastoral planning is in the heart of everyone in this diocese, and I know of your impatience with me that I have not given you concrete examples. But I have to tell you that the most concrete example I can give you, because pastoral planning doesn't work for evangelical substance unless it's done on our knees, unless it begins in our own conversion, unless it begins there. Because if it doesn't begin there, we really are dallying in maintenance setting, and we have not yet come to enter into mission territory. And that's what we're called to be. And so, yes, are we moving slowly? Yes, we're moving deliberatively. And we're doing that because the most important thing, and that's why we began with a year of prayer for the priests, we're doing it deliberately so that what we do is founded in grace. Without that, without grace being at the foundation, we end up mutilating our parishes. We end up cutting off legs when really what we should be doing is transforming hearts. And this can only come, brothers, this can only come on our knees. We have to purchase it with our love. We have to trust Jesus enough to count on him. That in gazing upon him, we are transformed. We have to believe that. And we need to believe it because it's true. Now, does that mean what you've done before is somehow defective? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means that the infinite God whom we love and adore, there's more for us. And he intends it for this presbyterate. He intends this for this diocese. Now, for a time, we may have to contract in order to prepare for an evangelical outpouring. And I want to tell you, this evangelical outpouring is going to renew us, renew the priests, renew all of us, our parishes, and we won't have to worry about numbers and whatnot. Because we're making this evangelical pivot, because we're making this pivot toward mission in faith, it's going to require us to make some decisions. And some of them are going to bite a little. Some of them are going to be painful. I think the first thing that we are doing, and we're doing it because what we do is we believe in the promises of Christ. And so one of the things we're going to do is limit the number of international priests who are serving the diocese. Now, this won't affect any of the priests who are presently serving, but we will begin to wean ourselves off in a way that will allow us to not put pastoral planning off. And so we're going to have to purposefully address the presbyterate in that. What we're looking for is stability. What we're looking for is longer-term pastors in parishes. Ideally, it would be very good if you didn't move every 2 or 3 years and you actually baptized children and married them in the same parish. That ideally would be better. It's better if a bishop isn't moved every 5 years and put someplace else. It's better if he is buried where he's ordained. And that is much better. And so one of the reasons we're doing this with international priests isn't because we somehow don't value their tremendous contribution to this diocese. That's not true at all. But we also know we need stable pastorates. And we need to be able to say that this priest won't be called home, this priest won't be removed by the immigration department, that this priest is here for the long haul. And so we need that. I would say the second thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting a moratorium on building projects in the diocese. Now, this won't happen. We're going to do that for 3 years. This won't affect those building programs that were part of the Inspire campaign. I couldn't do that. That would be unfair to the parishes and untrue for the money that was raised. But I do want to slow us down so that we can make the moves we need to make with a free hand and not be constrained by building projects and other plans. And that if there is to be an exception in that, in a building program, then I want it to be with the unanimity of the priests in the deanery. That if the priests in the deanery say, you know what, we think this is a program that should not be delayed, fine. No, I'm not talking about a boiler, a roof. I'm not talking about things that have to be done. The third thing, and see, all of these things are being ordered so that we can make the missionary pivot. We'll do this to enable us not to have as little interference as possible so that we can make the changes necessary going forward. And so on the third thing that we'll be doing, and this may at least initially be more controversial, so I'd like you to listen to me before you make a judgment. One of the things I'm going to ask the priest, because my liturgists tell me that I don't have a right to prevent you from celebrating the liturgy ad orientem, that I don't have that canonical authority. And you have a right to do that. But here's what I want to say. I don't want you to do that prudentially. I want us for 3 years to suspend any new celebrations of the liturgy ad orientem for 3 years. And in that time, I want us to get together and I want us to discuss a sensible way of moving forward. Listen, I'm not against ad orientem, to be honest with you. I kind of like it. But I am against anybody adjusting the liturgy in their parishes in a way that will be problematic for me joining 2 priests in one parish. You know, if one priest is deeply committed to the extraordinary form, and the other priest is deeply committed to Vatican V, you know, it's going to be hard to bring them together. And I don't want anything to prevent us of coming together and making a pastoral plan. This isn't an attack against tradition, but it is a challenge for us not to assume that we can just be the chief liturgist in the diocese. By the way, that's my job, and I choose not to cede that to you. I think it's important for us to do this, and wherever we go, to go together. And we do this out of communion. Now, can I force you to do that? I wish I could, but I can't. But I do ask you to voluntarily do that. And I ask you to consider that. If you don't do that, will everyone point at you and giggle? No. Will everyone say you're being disobedient? I won't. But I do ask that of you, not from an ideological perspective, for the simple reason that I need to be able to perhaps join some parishes together, and I don't need any obstacles to getting there. And that's really the bottom line. These are the 3 initial things. Father Derek will talk a little more about us moving forward. But brothers, we're on a path to mission. We're not on a path to pastoral planning. I mean, that's got to be part of it. But if it isn't part of it, which at its base is renewal in Christ, in becoming more like Jesus and helping our people become more like Jesus, then we're wasting our time and we will do violence to this diocese. And that I have to do with all my heart, all my efforts to prevent it. One of the things we have to remember, brothers, is we have to remember this is not your priesthood. It's Jesus's priesthood. This is not your church. It's Jesus's church. This is about him and about us becoming like him. We are his advancement. We are the ones who point and say, do whatever he tells you. And that's what we're called to be and become. I see a bright future for us, brothers. We're not all going to think the same way. We haven't been trained theologically the same way. So we need to be generous with each other. We need to understand that you and I are called to be holy, and that means set apart for him alone. God bless.